我が力いかようにもお使いくだされ。
私の知略が役に立つならお供しましょう。お前は他のやつと器が違う。これは戦うより仲間になった方が楽かもな。
あなたは責任というものを分かっている。これからは一緒に戦わせてもらえる？
私の知略が役に立つならお供しましょう。
さあ来やがれ。お前なんざ一ひねりだ。完璧
な志をお持ちと見える。私の知略が役に立つならお供しましょう。
Oh, hey, sorry, my mic was off. Hello. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm messing around with this mod. My mic's been off for like 10 minutes. Sorry. You didn't miss anything. Button tap ASMR, that's all you missed. Hello, everybody. I'm not ignoring you. I had my mic off earlier and I forgot to turn it back on because I was doing other stuff. What's up, Alvy and Alfred? Hello, everybody. Generally, a rule of thumb, if you can't hear button pressing ASMR because of the kinds of games I play, ask me if my mic is muted. And I can fix it. I had it off because I was recording for Twitter, but recording wasn't too good. I'll do it again later. I think the game soft locked. We'll see. Soft lock. Saw that coming. Alright. That's annoying. I don't know why that happens. Just, this mod I'm using has a high chance to soft lock, like, certain events don't play, so the dialogue box gets stuck. And when that happens, the game won't transition to, actually letting you finish. So it's waiting for a voice message to play that won't play. Figured I would explain that. My mic is on, right? Should be on now. I'm helping the person who made this mod test it. The guinea pig.
私の知略が役に立つならお供しましょう。
Alright, good.
私の知略が役に立つならお供しましょう。
Yeah, I bought the rest of the DLC, or most of it. If you look at my community post, I don't have a lot of spare money right now, but I paid like the $12 for the rest of it. Since the Microsoft Store version is essentially useless now, for me anyway. Microsoft Store version comes with all the DLC, but the mods either don't work, or they would be a nightmare to work, because Microsoft Store purchases are encrypted. So you have to go in and do all this crap to even get access to the files, and there's a chance that it won't work. So now with these mods, it's like, Microsoft version has lost a lot of its value, in my opinion. The mods make the game a lot better. But if you don't care about that, you don't care about modding, it's still a good value. But if I didn't know those files they're encrypted, you have to like decrypt them. Like, man, I don't want to do this. The sale's on right now. I'm like not really buying that many games in Steam sales anymore, so I coughed up the little money I had. I got the rest of the substantial DLC, so I got the mod working on the Steam Deck, by the way. So that's nice. I managed to do that with my own just technical know-how. It's actually surprisingly painless. Mostly because the file is loading from an exe file. It's not loading from a DLL. So that makes things a lot easier. Doing like Monster Hunter mods and stuff on Steam Deck is like a nightmare. So you have to point it to the DLL file. But this is pretty much, you install the mods, and then you point Steam to the ZMod.exe, and then you add a Proton compatibility command to it, and then the mod will just work. So, very happy to find that out. Very painless, only took a few minutes. Problem is there's no Steam Cloud for this game, so if I play this tomorrow when I'm working, I'll have to transfer my save over. That's pretty easy to do. You can do that on Google Drive. Relatively painless. This game predates Steam Cloud. That's how old this game is. gotta make a video how to set this up. I think people are kind of bored with Muso right now, as there's like not really any games even announced. It's been pretty quiet. Last major release was Three Hopes about a year ago. I've heard conflicting reports that like maybe there's supposed to be like some major Muso game announced this year, but I kind of doubt it. If it hasn't been announced by now, it would not be a 2023 release. I guarantee you that. Not sure what to expect. Might be a Dynasty Warriors 10 coming, or another franchise Muso. Those are like most likely culprits. Who knows though? They've been really churning out those franchise Muso games because they make so much more money than this does. I would not be surprised if there's like another franchise Muso coming to like Switch. Some like new sub-franchise, like Star Wars Muso or something random like that. They can't make another One Piece Muso. That shit prints money, but logistically they can't do it. There's a bunch of unique officers here. I should go grab them all. Logistically, they can't make another One Piece because the manga hasn't progressed far enough. They have to bullshit another ending. People really hate it when they do that, so I think that's off the table. As much as they want to. Not enough time has passed. Probably looking at like at least another year before they can do another One Piece Muso. Suits of the company probably really hate that. They can't churn those games out. They have a hard cap. They're limited by what the author's writing. They're probably like morbidly depressed. Because that shit makes so much money, but yeah, the past two One Piece games, they've had to make up an ending. Alright, so Mr. Dong is over here. We're gonna go grab him now. Just so I get all the playable officers. Then it's all just generics. Final major arc means nothing, man. I feel like with One Piece, you know, the guy is a very organized author. He has like good continuity and stuff. It's not like Bleach, where you could tell that the guy was just making up stuff as he went, and he didn't really have a plan for what he was doing. Especially when the manga got cancelled, you know, kind of just had to do a everybody went back to their home planet ending. That's not the problem. The problem is it makes a ton of money, and I don't know what they could possibly replace it with. I'll probably tell him to keep it going. I mean, that's pretty much what they did with Naruto. The guy wanted to end it, but they made him write about his Naruto's son. because it prints money. Best case scenario for the guy writing that manga is that they let him end it when he wants, but then they make him make some bullshit, like borderline fanfiction series, like Luffy's son or something goes on the same journey, and it's like mostly just a retread of what you already read. You get to see the characters older and shit like that. It's almost guaranteed what they'll do. But it's like, what do you replace One Piece with? There isn't anything. What can you replace One Piece with? It's been going for 25 years. Those are some big shoes to fill. I mean, manga tends to cycle in popularity, but that shit's gonna be going on forever. Bleach was the opposite. Bleach got killed by the anime going into filler for like a year. I don't think that guy was anywhere near wanting to end it, but he had to give it a home planet ending. Because the anime stopped running, which killed a lot of the merchandise potential and everything. Yeah, I don't get the point of what's the point of a series about Naruto's son? Like, isn't it enough that like he's married, he has a family? I think like that's why like most what's it called? Most series just end if they do the protagonist is happily married with a childhood love interest or whatever. They just end it. They show the kid and then they end it. I don't think it needs to go farther than that. It's like, what else is there to really cover? Just end it. There's always the chance of sequels like that ruining the original series, which is kind of what happened with the Star Wars trilogy. The new Star Wars trilogy did exactly that. Like, everybody from the old movies is dead. And they didn't even really do much, they just died for the sake of dying. Yeah, you don't need to continue it. Let it be a happy ending. Come up with something else. I know the manga industry is very cutthroat. Try to keep it going, like, as long as they can. Well, the Star Wars movies just managed to piss everyone off. They pissed off, you know, the parents of our generation that literally grew up with it. They're like the first generation that watched it. And then it also managed to piss off the younger generation that grew up with the prequels. That takes skill. Just managed to piss off everybody at once. Literal decades of people watching.
ついに誘われてこの地はいい。
この結果戦いの果て群雄割拠祝賀の折お耳に入れて学ん学ん 戦続ける戦続ける
What is there to even talk about with Naruto's son? Isn't it just like retreading the same thing? I don't understand the point. I mean, obviously the point is, the point is to make more money. How many times can you do that? How many times can you do that before it gets old? feel like when you get to that point, you should just, like, make something different. But I'm sure there's a lot of decisions that go into continuing never-ending manga like that. Keep the cash cow milked. Keep it going as long as possible. That's kind of what they're doing with Dragon Ball. Well, Dragon Ball is kind of weird because there's not a... I don't think there's an anime running right now. It's all just the manga, and you can tell that they're, like, out of ideas because they just, like, Ultra Ego Vegeta is, like, this big deal. It's like, okay, it's Vegeta with a different hair color, and he doesn't have eyebrows. And you have to write a story about that. Like, okay.
Mana?
No, it's Ultra Ego is the new one. Ultra Ego Vegeta.
Mana?
No, such a jarring difference. I don't either, I just know about it from friends.
Mana?
Is Dragon Ball GT even canon anymore? I don't think it is. I think it's not even canon anymore. They know how much people hate it. I think they pretty much just pulled a DMC2 with Dragon Ball GT. Like, we know people don't like this series, so we just, like, gloss over the fact that things happened in it. Dragon Ball GT is the epitome of...
Mana?
We don't have anywhere else to go, but we're gonna try to go there anyway. Because you want to make more money. Which is funny because the way that they made more money was basically just going back to Dragon Ball Z. I don't think GT was very well received. It was on for like a fifth of the amount of time. It was only like 60 episodes. Dragon Ball Z was like close to 300 with all the filler. It was on like 20% of the time. I should tell you that it didn't do very well.
Mana?
It wasn't widely liked. They didn't even make that many games with it. They made like Final Bout and then the Transformation game on GBA, which is a piece of shit. Well, both of them are really bad games. So then they just went back to Dragon Ball Z, 'cause that's the most marketable one.
Mana? 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 Mana?
Yeah, I haven't been following that stuff, but from what I can tell, that they're basically treating it like DMC2. Because at the end of DMC2, he goes farther into hell, right? He beats the boss, and he goes farther into hell. But now you have DMC5, where they make a big deal of, like, you know, he's gonna go down into hell and I guess, try to cut the demons off at the source. But then he already did that in 2. So, like, they kind of contradict each other. Unless he, like, came back from 2 off-screen and then went back down there again, which also does not make any sense. Because the guy is thorough. Every time there's an invasion and shit, he takes care of it. It doesn't make much sense that he would go down there specifically to stop it at its source and then come back again. Go back down there again. But that's just kind of how it's been written. They're like not even really trying to acknowledge DMC2 because they know it's not a popular game. Even now with the HD collection, pretty much everybody just plays 1 and 3. There's so many video essays telling you can skip 2, which a lot of those video essays are straight up lying to you. But yeah, you can skip DMC2. It has a lot of interesting mechanics that became better later on, but there's no real need to play it. The story is like non-existent. It's mostly just the ending that contradicts like everything. Because he like goes farther into hell at the end of that game from what I remember. But then he's like doing the same thing again. I think they just realized there's not many fans of Dragon Ball GT or DMC2. It's very easy to ignore. I mean, they have Pan there. They have Gohan's daughter. But that's something that kind of happens at the beginning of GT, from what I remember. Actually, it already happens at the end of Z, so they got lucky. They don't have to really explain why she's there. The little time skip they do at the end of Z kind of already explains it. The fact that she went on an adventure in GT is a non-issue. They can just write around it. Actually has a lot in common with what happened with this series. Dynasty Warriors 6 was such a failure and no one liked it. So they just went back to the old everything. The way that the mechanics work, minus the things that they added, is exactly the same as Dynasty Warriors 5, all the PS2 titles. They pretty much did the exact same thing. We're just gonna retcon all that. Which I'm sure they regret, because now they're gonna have to do another full reboot just to make more games. They're probably not happy about that. It's like, well, that's what happens when you don't, you don't stick with something and improve it. You just completely wipe it. That's the issue. Like, okay, the game wasn't well received, but you didn't have to scrap everything. You could have, like, kept at least some things from it. So now they're in this situation where they decloned everybody. They gave everybody a unique weapon. By the time that 8 Empires came out, which is the game after this, everybody had a unique weapon. There were no clones. But then in 9, they're like, well, you can't make an open world and have, like, 120 movesets. So they just went back to square one. The rumor is that the next Dynasty Warriors is going to be yet another reboot, because 9 was poorly received. I'm like, just stick with that combat. Just add more to it. I feel like they don't know what they're doing with this series. They've dropped the ball. If they had just stuck with the 6 combat and like revamped it and made it better, and there had been like another 3 games, 3 mainline installments, I think it would have gone a lot better. But they decided to just go back to scratch, go back to square one again. Probably somebody working on the new Dynasty Warriors right now. It's really pissed at the higher-ups of the company for doing that. I'm like, yeah, I would be too. Could have easily avoided having to redo everything twice just by sticking with the old combat system from 6. There were some really nice things in that game. It wasn't all bad. I hate when people say it's all bad. It's like, it wasn't. It's mostly bad, yes. But there were some really awesome things about it. Yeah, but also a lot of people in the Muso community, not the people that make videos, the people that just play, have very unrealistic expectations for these games. Like, dude, they can't have, like, every kid that Yu had from One Night Stand in the game, and then have them all be unique. It's just not possible to do that. There's literally no other series outside of Smash Brothers Ultimate that has every character playable. And there's a reason for that. Because it's just impossible to keep adding stuff and keep everything. Some things have to go. They have to make sacrifices. It doesn't matter how much money it makes. They don't want the game to be in development for like 10 years. They have to cut stuff. Smash Ultimate is not even a good example because they basically already admitted that like the only reason that game has everybody is because of Smash Wii U, which was a failure, by the way. One of the better selling Wii U games, but compared to the other entries in the series, it sold like way less. If they hadn't made Smash Wii U, then Ultimate would have had a lot of cuts as well. I don't know. I don't understand it. Like, people don't realize, they don't see a pattern here, like... Street Fighter 6 sold 2 million copies in, like, barely 2 months. They could add everybody. And they'll probably get close to adding a bunch of people by the time that the game is towards the end of its lifespan, but they're not going to have everybody. They can't do that. I get tired of the fandom sometimes. I get sick of them, because it's like you have unrealistic demands that they can't meet. You know, my favorite character, I totally would understand if he got cut, because he's not that relevant in history, you know? There's characters in these games that they, like, basically can't ever cut, because they're, like, a big part of the era, history, or both. Like, Yu's 15th son, he doesn't need to be in the game. Like, cool, if he has a cool fighting style, that's great, but he doesn't need to be in the game. Best thing they could do with Dynasty Warriors 10 is completely scrap everything and not release with everybody. Just don't even have them as clones. Just like don't have them in the game or make them like unique NPCs. And then give them like an actual, make like packs for it. Make it into like a soft service game. I think that's like the only way they could do it at this point. hey, here's the Wu Army pack. You know, they add like 10 characters or something. Here's like the late shoe pack, and it's like, I don't know, $15 or something. Knowing Koei Tecmo would be way more expensive than that, but that's just a bullshit number I made up. I feel like that's the only way they can really meet the demand. I've heard rumors it's coming soon. I heard rumors that it's coming soon, which I could see some credibility to that rumor just because Koei Tecmo Muso has been very quiet lately. The last big one to come out was pretty much Age of Calamity and what's it called? Free Hopes. Those were both over a year ago. So maybe they're like, we gotta get people off these other games and have all hands on deck for DW10. I just hope they do what I'm saying and like don't try to have 120 characters at launch. That's just gonna piss people off. Just like I said, people have very unrealistic expectations for these games. It's like people have never looked at like any other video game franchise that has a lot of playable characters. Like, yeah, they can't add everybody. They can't. It's not really a rumor. It's more that there hasn't been a big Muso game even announced in like a year. There's not even one coming. Generally, when video game companies don't immediately announce a new game, they're working really hard on a new one. They're not ready to show it yet. Which is a good thing, because now they announce games when they haven't even written like one line of code. And instead of doing the sensible thing and telling you about it when it's like 80% done, they tell you when it's like 2% done. Which is exactly what happened with Bayonetta 3. It's been proven when they announced Bayonetta 3 that the trailer that they had for that at the Game Awards was like the only thing that was made for it. I'm sure they had concept art and like a basic like what's the word for it? They had like a baseline for what they wanted the game to be, but they had barely done jack shit on it when they announced it when they did. Which is funny, because obviously they were working on it the whole time, but they announced it when they like just freaking started. Which made people think it was vaporware, but it wasn't. Tales of Arise was like that as well. It took like over a year to get gameplay for that game. I'm like, why didn't you just announce it with gameplay? How the game turned out is not relevant in what I'm trying to say. It's the fact that they announced it way too soon. And that makes the expectations go even farther out of control. Nah, I think Dynasty Warriors 10 or whatever the next Muso game will probably be announced this year. But it's not going to come out this year. Probably at the Tokyo Game Show. That's in a few months. We'll probably announce it there. And then it'll be like probably a first quarter like next year. Now, I'm not saying it's Dynasty Warriors 10. I'm saying the next Muso game period is probably going to get announced in the next few months. Because it's uncharacteristic to not even have one announced, so they must be working on something big. Three Hopes also did not get any DLC either, so that's weird too. It's kind of a no-brainer for Three Kingdoms to get more DLC. Not Three Kingdoms, but Three Hopes. Like, they could have easily added on to that game, but no, that game was just a one and done. I don't understand why they didn't add anything else to that game. It definitely needed it. That game feels like the first release of most Muso games, where it's like solid, the gameplay is decent, but there's no end game, so you run out of things to do. That's pretty much the problem with Three Hopes. They went all in on the story, which, given that it's a Fire Emblem game, is not a bad thing. But I don't think they needed 3 campaigns. I think that just completely killed any budget or resources they had to like actually give you a reason to keep playing. The game already has a lot of clones, but the fact that there's nothing to really use them on is kind of what hurts it. They have like the New Game Plus thing, which is just kind of half-assed. It doesn't really add anything interesting. It's mostly just grinding for the sake of grinding. Yeah, the Orochi 3 Ultimate was very well received. It's a good port. It has some problems they didn't fix, but it is a good port nonetheless. And it just kind of came out of nowhere, and I think it actually sold pretty well too. I'd say the biggest blunder they did with that was not putting it on console. But I guess because the game is already on, it's already on Switch, PS4, and Xbox. I guess they didn't want to get to a situation where they have 2 of the same game. I guess they could delist the old one, but for some reason they didn't want to go that route, so it's only on PC. Because the Definitive Edition is basically just a copy of, it's a copy of the Japanese Switch version, because the Switch version has all the DLC included. So it's like one flat fee for everything. So all they did was they just took that and they upscaled it and they unlocked the frame rate. That's all they did to it. It can't have taken that much work, but a lot of people want it on console now, and I guess they're just not going to do that. The only way they could do it would be to delist the old one. But I guess because there's so many copies circulating in game stores and stuff, locally owned in GameStop and stuff, I guess they don't want to do that. I'd say that's the only bad thing about that remaster, is that they didn't even put the Switch version on. The Switch version is Japanese exclusive. There's actually a number of Muso games on Switch that you can't buy on any store but the Japanese one. There's Samurai Warriors 4 DX, Spirit of Sanada, 8 Empires, I think, and then Orochi. So yeah, there's a whopping 4 Muso games that you can't get. Which is kind of weird. It's not like they even have to retranslate them. All those games have international versions. They're pretty good ports too, for what it's worth. Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and record a video with this mod and tell people about it, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. Now, I also gotta be up in the morning for my groceries, and I gotta do some cleanup before they come, so thanks for watching. Should be back in action probably later today. It's like the Nintendo Direct later today. I'll shadow drop another stream. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. So I'm gonna put up a video of the mod for people and explain what it is and everything, and I'd rather do that offline so the quality is better. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later today.